Hi there, James here for chronic fatigue syndrome. My friend, my enemy, my constant companion. Day 65. What's up? What's down? What's sideways? Um, I I sorry, been doing videos for 65 days, sharing them about here or there, and it's weird because I've got like um I've had these moments where people have randomly said to me, I kid you not, on one of them, it was one of my brothers said, um, my personal trainer had seen your videos and found them informative, and I was like, that's such a uh, I most probably wouldn't have written that sentence in a story. It's pretty cool. And then there was a family get together today, and I had a family member say, um, I think it's good what you're doing, and I find them interesting. I paraphrase. I can't remember the exact words. Um, it's good what you're doing. Find them interesting. Um, and then like other people here and there making comments, and it's kind of odd to me that people are not only watching this, but then being able to take something from it, because this is just my life. This is just it, and I don't share everything. I don't share um, incredibly personal things and stuff like that. But it is a life with chronic fatigue syndrome, and there are what feels like more downs than ups. Um, but it's the ups you try and focus on, and when you're down, try not to dwell on it too long, and make your way through to the next lot. So it's quite a weird. No, I don't. I It's hard to explain. Um, it's an interesting and new feeling to have like people come up and like um, without prompt comment like, "Oh, I saw your videos and I find them interesting," or like, I watched them and like, "I didn't know that," or something like that. And yeah, I just didn't peg it when I started doing these videos, so it's kind of nice in that it's nice, the things you're putting out there, people are finding useful or engaging or entertaining or something like that. I say kind of because it wasn't my initial intention. Like, I um, I think in my first video I said that this wasn't, I wasn't trying to motivate anyone. I wasn't trying to sell anyone anything. I wasn't like trying to sell a cure or anything like that. However, if it did motivate someone, that's great. If it did help someone out, that's great. But that wasn't my intention. It was pretty selfish why I started it, and it and I've kept it going, I guess, because it's kind of a habit now. Um, the the initial challenge was to do it for the month to share it, but the actual challenge was to do 100 days of content, so it's called publishing. So if you're in, let's say if you're in business and you're selling scarves, then you might go and publish something every day, either write it or do a video on scarves, you know, and you could find like the best quality scarves come from this place. You can buy scarves really cheap from this place, but you really don't want to do it because of these things. And like scarves are wonderful because of these things. So the idea um, for business training is you do like 100 days of content, um, and provide value to people. So the subjects that I'm well versed in, um, one of them is my personal life with chronic fatigue syndrome. And it was scary to share it, which is why I made it my February thing, but it was part of a 100-day publishing challenge. Um, I could have done martial arts. I might do martial arts. The thing with martial arts is people like to see all the flash and stuff like that. And there's a lot of stories I could share with martial arts. A lot of stories. A lot of stories with martial arts. So I might do it for that, but it's not so scary for me. Like I'm pretty comfortable in my skill set with martial arts to call people out. You know, like that's rubbish, that's nonsense, that's good, that's not, and to back it up. So it wouldn't have been. It's not. I'm not that kind of person though, so that would have been my challenging point to actually like put myself in a place where like I'm going to call you out on this. I'm not that kind of person unless you engage with me, and um, through that interaction, I will call you out on it. But I'm also open to have people do that with me as well. I will, if I get on the martial art forums on the internet, there are people who like the lessons that I've come across, and there are people who it's so contradictory to their worldview and their training that they just lose it. You know, if it was a sword fight, they would have lost because they would have like rattled their sabers and drawn their swords and like swung wildly. I mean, they would have just lost. Um, uh, so that does my head in. Um, but with chronic fatigue syndrome, it's kind of a quietish thing in my life. And I'll mention it here or there, or an aspect here or there, but I've never talked about it like this. So there was the scary thing. So I might do 100 days of publishing with martial arts. Certainly got enough content. But that's why I'm going. So we're down day 65. 35 more days to go. And then when I get to day 100, whether or not I continue is another thing. If people are finding value, or if people have like specific questions or stuff like that, then I continue. But I just wanted to share. I didn't set out to have a whole lot of engagement. At the same time, I wasn't allowed to hide, so I couldn't just put it on YouTube and just hide. I had to share it on my social media outlets, you know, and go like, "Hey guys, I'm doing this. This is day blah," and I haven't shared on Facebook as I've stopped over the last week or so, um, just because something I'm thinking about doing. So I stopped, but I haven't stopped making the videos and making them available, and people still know I'm doing them. So there's a bit of a trade-off. Um, and even though I didn't set out to do it, it is nice to hear that in some form someone's found this entertaining. Me talking to a video, me talking to a camera screen for um, 10, 12 minutes a day. I was like, I might need a bigger hat for that. It's really nice. And if it's the same thing with martial arts, if you can help one person do one thing better or improve their life, then that's a victory, that's a win, that's a success. And even though I didn't set out to do that with these videos, it wasn't my intention. It was purely selfish. Um, it's still nice to know that that's had that effect. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there tonight. So thank you very much. If you have any questions or like to introduce yourself, feel free to leave a comment below. Like, share, subscribe, and hit that little notification button. And thank you very much for letting me share with you Chronic Fatigue Syndrome Day 65.